Okay, hello everyone, this is Mapletree Industrial Trust third quarter FY23-24 financial results dated 25th January 2024. Right, just quickly having a look at their top line numbers. Alright, it's actually quite good. Okay, net property income up 0.8%, distribution to unit holders up 3.1%. Right, DPU is down 0.9%, but this is year on year. Actually, when we look at quarter on quarter later, I think it's actually improved. Right, so actually to me it isn't a dip lah. It's a dip because they compared year on year. Right, so they say positive rental revisions across all property segments, highest average rental rates for both portfolios in Singapore and North America, which are their major portfolios. Right, increase in Wales, that's a good thing. Right, borrowings are hedged. Okay, and gearing ratio remains quite healthy, 38.6%. Right, if I look at DPU, right, which is just this dotted plot over here, you can see that historically very nice uptrend. Right, it's in the recent years, post-COVID, that it's been like sort of stagnating. And if you watch my last video, I predicted that this should remain roughly constant. Right, that means I expect it to be roughly horizontal. And so if you compare the last quarter, which is 3.32, this quarter is 3.36. To me, it's actually an improvement. It's a slight improvement over last quarter. Okay, not a great improvement that I will be buying a lot more, but I would say overall the results are within expectation and probably slightly on the more positive edge of expectations. Right, so year on year, alright, we'll just look at DPU because no point in looking at all the numbers that are up and down slightly only. Right, so DPU is down 0.9% year on year. This was what was reported in the front page. Right, this is 1.7%. This one is year to date. Right, so this would be I think 3 quarters. Right, so if I look at across the last 3 quarters, it's down 1.7%. Right, this quarter on quarter, which is what I will look at instead. Alright, it's actually up 1.2%, which is not bad. So it's holding steady horizontally, which I think is good under the circumstances now. Right, so we can look at NAV, which is a slight dip. To me, not a big issue lah. Okay, 1.88 to 1.85. The only worry is if it dips too much, it may affect gearing. Right, it might push gearing up, but I don't think MIT is any danger of that because number one, its gearing is very comfortable at 38.6, right, and if you look at their occupancy, it's all pretty high, so I do not expect this to give problems from a valuation perspective. Right, okay, we look at the debt maturity, very well spaced out. Alright, I think the more recent debt that we have to worry about is here, which is about 14%. Right, we want to see how much this refinancing will cost their average all-in funding costs, right, to change. Right, and actually you can see the average cost of debt decreased from 3.2 to 3.1, which I think is great. If you look at every other REIT I believe I've seen so far, this number has increased. Right, so MIT is actually doing very well in this. Right, my guess is the Japan debt has managed to drop the overall cost of debt. Right, so a very healthy balance sheet. Right, so you can see 4.7 times interest coverage ratio, which I believe is one of the highest amongst even the top tier REITs. Right, so I'm not going to cover too much about the rest, I think. Right, this was really meant to be a short update. Right, I think even though their rental rates is in all-time highs, you can see the trend is not very steep, so I think they are moving up at a sustainable level. Yeah, so I'm not too worried about that. Right, maybe you just look at outlook. Alright, so they are worried about a lot of things. Right, global economic activity softening. Right, monetary policy still tight. Right, so that means interest rates are still high, restrictive financial conditions, and weak global trade growth. Right, so and operating expenses and increase in borrowing costs. Right, these are things that I think every REIT is facing. Right, so they are worried about that. Right, economy in Singapore seems to be slightly better than expected. Okay, in the US there seems to be demand for data centers, but I think there are also new data centers being built, so in the longer run I'm not sure if this will dilute the need for Mapletree Industrial Trust data centers. I think Japan is too small to worry about. Okay, so with that, I think I'll end of the presentation. Thank you very much for listening.